So, folks, there's this guy named Michael Knowles, famous for his portrayal of a homosexual in an art film he made in college. Quite famous. It's what he's best known for in the acting world, actually. And I highly encourage you to look up his reel. It is a vibe. But he actually doesn't do acting anymore, surprisingly. Instead, he's doing a show for the Daily Wire called The Michael Knowles Show. And serious question, Michael, did your budget get slashed? Are you not successful enough for the Daily Wire anymore and they slashed your budget? Because this this looks bad. Like, your lighting looks bad. The camera quality is terrible. I wonder how the microphone quality is. Let's find out.
The story out. The story of an...
Oh, it's also really bad. Okay. Interesting stuff. So Michael Knowles apparently had his budget slashed. I'm just surmising from the presentation before us. But also, he put out a video titled, "Should We Contact This Remote Brazilian Tribe?" And I haven't seen this yet. I am going into this blind, but the answer to that should be no. No, just let them do their thing.
Uncontacted tribe in the Brazilian rainforest. Headline: Photographs reveal first glimpse of uncontacted Amazon community. Exclusive: automatic cameras in the Brazilian rainforest show images of the Masako people who are flourishing despite environmental threats. So these are pictures, cameras that were just set up so the group remains uncontacted, truly, but by the white man or any kind of civilized man. The pictures of a group of men offer the outside world. It's
really interesting here that he defaults to the white man when, like, they're in South America. Like, most of the people there are Latino of some kind. They are, not white. It just seems to be like maybe that's kind of racist to just assume that, like, oh yeah, all of those white people are barred. But what do you mean, Michael? You think only white people are barred from talking to them? No, they're barred from anybody talking to them. Yeah, for him, white means civilized, technological, etc.
First glimpse of the community and give further evidence the population is growing. Well, that's good. This uncontacted tribe surviving on roaches and dirt is able to have kids and grow its population.
Yeah, in case you thought, oh man, Jack, you're being really uncharitable to him about being a racist. I don't know. Okay, maybe genuinely, maybe some racists don't know this, but, like, people in the past weren't eating roaches and dirt. They actually had real food. They, ate meat and made stews and soups and such. They weren't, in fact, just shitting in their hand and then shoving it in their mouth. That wasn't actually part of their diet. They were, in fact, eating actual food. And you know what? I'm just going to throw this out there for the racists who may stumble across this video. Fun fact for you, the British were drinking their shit and piss for hundreds of years, killing themselves by drinking and eating their shit and piss. And, like, I don't know, maybe you shouldn't be on like a high horse about the glories of Western civilization when you have stories about the Broad Street Pump. Like maybe, you know, because like I guarantee you that that uncontacted tribe is not pissing in their drinkable water and shitting on their food. I guarantee you they're not doing that. So I guess they're above white Europeans in that regard. Like I just, you know, I'm just throwing this out there. God.
America, the richest people in the history of the world, can't do that. We haven't had above replacement birth rate since 1971. Maybe we should go move to...
Oh yeah, also Michael Knowles is now obsessed with white birth rates. And guess what? There's a very easy solution to this on a national level, which is immigration. America's population has kept growing, notice, since the 1970s, because immigration happens and people come here. And notice that they're against that idea. So, you know, you kind of screwing yourselves over here. This is really Sideshow Bob stepping on rakes if Sideshow Bob was exponentially more racist.
To the jungle and eat bugs. Then maybe we could have a flourishing country. I'm not in any way being ironic.
Yeah, because, you know, that's what you know, tribes of people ate. They ate bugs and dirt. Hey, just as a fun fact, those uncivilized tribes invented, you know, needles of the kind that we use for medicine all the time. They were able to invent things like brain surgery. You know, I'm just saying, like, his presumptions here are insane. You don't even know what they're doing there. This is the first time you've ever seen them. You know no other information about them, and you're just like, yeah, they're all primitive savages, incapable of any high-level ideas. Like my good friend and I, Dave Rubin. Just want to say, like, I have a huge level of contempt for Michael Knowles. Because I want to show you guys, and I know I've shown it before, but guys, this is the guy who's on his high horse.
What the fuck, Nicole?
It's not what you think.
Here's his incredible contribution to the extremely advanced Western world.
Not what I think. Are you fucking your brother?
No!
What? Oh, I like it when you're rough with me, pretty lady. You asshole! Guys, quit it! This is some serious shit! You're fucking right, it's serious shit! God, I think you broke my nose! I'm gonna do fucking worse than that. What are you gonna say? I hit you because you have an incest with your sister? I'm adopted, remember? That makes it better! Guys, shut the fuck up. 30 days. Guys,
We're almost there.
Yes! Fuck! God, this is so gay. This is just too surreal for me.
You know, I just, that's his incredible contribution to Western society, and I think that I take some comfort knowing that if he ever encountered one of these people and tried to convey the same sentiments that he's sharing now, they would simply beat him to death with a rock, and they would be right to do so. Okay, maybe that's a bit extreme. That might be a bit extreme. But that being said, let's return to the video.
That's crazy. That's not even the point I wanted to make, but that is such a shocking fact of this article. These people who are naked, running through the
Also, they're not naked. You showed the picture of them. They're wearing clothing.
jungle, who probably think these cameras are, you know, alien deities who have shown up. These people have a more ordered and serious society than America in the year of our Lord 2024. That's really bad.
Hey guys, which do you think is easier to have order over? Is it a group of like 20 people or a group of 300 million people? Which group is it harder to have order with? Just, you know, if we're going to compare societies here, which one might have more complications to a sense of order? Yeah, it's the 300 million. Okay, let's move on.
Bad. Now, the article goes on. The group is known as the Masako after the river that runs through their lands, but no one knows what they call themselves. No one's talked to these people, so they don't know what we just call them Masako. While their language, social fabric, and beliefs remain a mystery. So there's this big question that comes up, which is, they're uncontacted. Should we contact them? On the one hand, they're naked, and you know they're likely having their grandmothers eaten by jaguars and things, leopards.
You know, you just pointed out you don't even know what they call themselves. Why are you making these assumptions about them, Michael? What's wrong with you?
And they don't have running water. Well, they have rivers.
They don't have running water except for the river that they're named after that you pointed out 2 seconds ago. Michael Knowles is really one of the dumbest men on the Daily Wire lineup. It's honestly, sometimes I find it endearing, the level to which he's just a dingus, you know?
Actually, Michael Knowles is going to not make me lose my mind. I'm going to hit the treadmill and return a while from now.
That's
You'll be
fair.
on when I return.
That's fair, one-eyed heathen. Have a good time on the treadmill, and thank you for the $5 super chat.
Probably don't have very stable sources of food. They probably don't have a...
What if they didn't have stable sources of food? How do you explain their enlarging population, Michael? Populations don't usually increase without a stable food supply. Michael?
A particularly robust system of law and order. So they don't have iPhones. They don't have dentistry. So
guess what? People 50 years ago didn't have iPhones. What are you talking about?
should we contact them? On the one hand, you say, yes, we certainly should. On the other hand, you say, no, these people, they're so preserved. Wow, it's like an amber. It's like a zoo. If we keep the cameras there, we can see what it was like, primitive man, or even the real hippy-dippy types will say, no, they're living the really perfect way. And look, there's something to recommend their lifestyle. They're growing.
You know, it's awesome that you know, the keep government small types are also like, actually the government needs to go bother these people who are bothering literally no one.
And we're not. So they're doing something right. But still, I bet there's a lot of problems with this tribe running around naked in the jungle. So some people say, no, we got to preserve them. We shouldn't contact them. Now others would say, that's cruel not to contact them. You have so much you could give them. You could offer them. You could give them, you know, potato chips and iPhones or something.
And you know, the bubonic plague, you could give them that too. You know, I bet they'd really appreciate all of the illnesses that you could give them. You know, maybe something to consider when we're talking about contacting isolated groups in South America. Just as an idea to consider.
But the other people say, no, but you might infect them with the diseases and the pathologies
Yes!
of the West. And that's a fair point too. Both sides actually make fair point.
both sides make fair points. On the one hand, we could give them television. On the other hand, they might all die from the illnesses we have. These truly are equal points. Wouldn't they be so much happier if they could buy all of their goods at a Walmart?
Because the question is not, should we contact them or should we not contact them? The question is, what would we be bringing them? What would we contact them for? If you told me we're going to contact them to teach them about atheism and doom scrolling, and we're going to teach them
He muted porn.
all those great wonders of life in the 21st century, I would say, you know what? Leave them alone. Okay? They seem to be actually doing fine on their own. If, on the other hand, you say, we're going to contact them to make disciples of all nations and teach them about the love of God,
Just want to remind you all of this event when a missionary went to the Sentinel Islands to convert the Sentinelese, an uncontacted group of people, and they fucking killed him because they don't want anyone there. Like, I'm sorry, they're not asking for you to teach them that. So maybe don't, and let God sort that out. You know, like, the Bible alleges that, like, oh, well, you know, a lot of Christians allege that essentially, you know, if someone has been raised in a society on the other side of the world that has never heard of, like, Jesus Christ, like, you know, God will have a different system for them because they don't, you know, they're in a different category. So, like, I don't know, you're kind of putting their souls at risk here, Michael, by teaching them. Seems like you know, this doesn't seem to be a good argument. Oh man, they don't want to learn about doom scrolling, but wait until they learn about Catholic priests. That will certainly help them historically.
the love of Christ, who is incarnate, and we're about to celebrate the incarnation, who died to redeem mankind and fulfills the old law and promises everlasting life. And we're gonna do actually what the first explorers to the Americas did. Men like Christopher Columbus.
Gonna do what Christopher Columbus did to America? So you're gonna go enslave their children as sex objects? Because that's what Christopher Columbus did. He had his titles stripped by the Spanish court for how heinously he treated the indigenous people. Like, that's in Columbus's time, it was so bad that the Spanish aristocracy was like, "You are disgusting, sir." Do you know how bad something had to be when a lot of the people behind the Inquisition were like, that's a bit far?
Hernan Cortez, the conquistadors, these great brave men who brought civilization to the Americas, helped to give us our country.
They cut off people's hands en masse if they weren't giving enough gold to the conquistadors. You know, just as a real, you know, in case you're having a hard time parsing this bit of history, people who call themselves the conquerors are not typically the good guys. They're not typically doing well by the people they conquered. That's why those people needed to be conquered in the first place. You know, like, they did not want that.
Country. I would say go full steam ahead. That's a charitable thing to do. That's very good for the uncontacted tribe. That's what the West used to do. when we called our civilization Christendom and we had a good, thriving civilization. Now we have a dying civilization that is being invaded by people who have other religions, or worse yet, they don't bring their religion here. Worse yet, they adopt our lack of religion and drive cars into Christmas markets.
What? That seems oddly specific, but I would remind Michael Knowles that there are religious people who do terror attacks as well. Like, he's talking about it like doing terrorism is unique to like non-religious people, which it's not, and anyone can do it. And in fact, more religious people are more inclined to do that.
Yeah, well, we don't want to spread that. You're right. I'm anti-contacting to spread the sicknesses that have infected modernity, liberal modernity. But if we're going to go back to the old school, yeah, bring them the truth. Bring them the truth. So much of modernity is based on falsehood. We would be leading them further from the truth if we did that. Or we can bring them the love of God, bringing them closer to the truth. God, who is the truth, Christ, who is the truth. Yeah, good. Let's do that. That's a good idea.
You know, I don't, guys, so much of what he just said, like, I just want to point something out here. There's a group of Christian terrorists that are very famous in the United States. They burn crosses and they're called the Ku Klux Klan, guys. It's not subtle. It's not subtle. Yeah, but you know, the only people in America who do terrorism are non-religious. What are you talking about, bro? It just really... Okay, we contact them, but by dropping a sanitized flyer for a hero shop from a drone? Yeah. Michael Knowles is just a gigantic dipshit. Like, there's not a single thing that man can talk about outside of, like, Italian history. And, like, I think he did his master's on, like, in the Inferno, like Dante, I think. I could be wrong about that, but, like, dude does know some things, but, like, he yaps a lot about things he knows nothing about. I don't know, just leave him alone. This group of people does not want to be contacted, so don't contact them. If they wanted to be contacted, they would go on a journey to find what's out there in the world. They don't do that. Leave them alone. They're not bothering you. Don't bother them. Seems pretty straightforward to me. Anyway, moving on.